Hello, Tim from Critical Kit here, and I am really excited about bringing you this video. So yesterday at SDCC, the new Dungeons and Dragons movie trailer dropped. It's the first big look we've had at the movie, and I got together with a friend of mine earlier today, Rick Hart. He is an absolutely phenomenal GM. He knows so much about D&D lore, and we went through it almost frame by frame to see what we could pick up, see if there are any of those sort of blink and you'll miss it moments, as well as touching on some of the more obvious things that are in there. So you're about to watch that video. Please let us know what your thoughts are. Did we miss anything? Just stick it all down in the comments below, and we had so much fun doing this, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so let's get started. Let's take a quick look at the trailer. So one thing that I want to mention is that I have, because of obviously copyright reasons, this trailer has got one of my favourite pieces of music in it.
Awesome tune.
Absolutely awesome tune. So I was really happy about that when that came in, and I think it's very well placed. So I have actually cut out the audio, so we don't get any strikes or anything, or get any of this removed. But anyway, let's jump in and take a quick look at it. I will pause. If ever you want me to pop back to anything, Rick, just let me know, yeah?
Will do.
But here we go. I'm going to pretty much pause it straight away. Okay,
Yes.
First pause straight away. So, what do we think this place is?
That's got to be Waterdeep, right?
Yes, I suppose it is Waterdeep. One of my thoughts was maybe Candlekeep as well, but it probably is Waterdeep. I was thinking with the because I have a very different vision in my head of Waterdeep, because I haven't seen a lot of artwork, but I have seen Candlekeep, and but yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right about that. So, is there anything you want to say about the visuals on this?
Oh, well, obviously it looks stunning. It's, again, really beautiful that they've managed to recreate this in a way that looks real. There is one thing that really stands out, and actually just above the sail of the boats, you can see the mast pointing to a structure there, which is looking like an arena, a coliseum.
Yeah.
And that could be the Field of Triumph, which is in, I think, the Sea Ward of Waterdeep. And that's one of the things that makes me really think that this is Waterdeep.
So you know way more about Waterdeep than I do.
A bit.
Yeah, because I've only really played a lot of the games I've played to the north, which is Neverwinter. So I have done a run a game in Baldur's Gate, which I believe is just, is it south of Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate?
It's a little way south of it, yeah.
A little way south of it, yeah. So I don't really know. I know the is it the mage, the mad wizards? I've forgotten the D and the book,
yeah,
but yeah, there was a Waterdeep heist as well, wasn't there? For
yeah,
D&D?
Dragon Heist, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so this Waterdeep. Any comments on? So this, what did you call this sort of?
That, I think, is probably the Field of Triumph.
Right, yeah, because in a moment we'll probably see a bit later on. We'll see what looks like a gladiatorial session.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
I would assume works in there. So what do we think this is as well? This intrigued me. There's some kind of hot air balloon or something floating.
Well, actually, I'm a bit curious, because obviously we've got Spelljammer being talked about at the moment amongst 5th edition.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a setting that's incoming.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things is that actually Waterdeep is the biggest Spelljammer dock on the Forgotten Realms. They have to sail in normally, but it could be that we see something like that. It could be that, although it's from a distance, it could be that we're looking at something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. That would be interesting if they bring some of the sort of Spelljammer lore, because I guess that if from a cynical marketing perspective, that's quite good timing.
It'd be a nice little touch.
It would be a nice little touch though as well. Yeah. Also, I'm gonna hazard a guess that this boat that we see drifting in has probably got our heroes on it. I'm not entirely sure, but
It's probably a safe bet.
yeah, it would be. Okay, well, anyway, it's lovely to see the Sword Coast. I get, is Waterdeep's class of Sword Coast?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, okay, so it's lovely to actually see the Sword Coast as a thing there as well. That's amazing. All right, let's just see what else we're going to get from this. Okay, I'm definitely pausing this scene because there's first look at our heroes, the party.
Yep, absolutely. Nice little walking intro, that lovely V formation, web formation they like to use.
Yeah, I love it.
You've spotted something here already, haven't you? You've spotted something on the banners, I believe.
The banners, I'm pretty sure we've got the red banners are Lord's Alliance and the blue banners are the Harpers, which are factions, in D&D lore. They definitely come into play in the starter set, and they do bring them into play. Any adventures that take take place in that sort of, especially in that area
Yeah.
of Faerun, you do get them in there. Yeah, so the banners. I'm just wondering where this place is, though. I don't really know Waterdeep, so it could be a castle in Waterdeep, or
It could be. There's something interesting about this statue, though, and do bear in mind what this looks like, because there's another bit later in the video that looks very much like this draconic statue.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain what it is, honestly.
yeah,
But yeah, I think this is just the streets of Waterdeep. I'm not sure which ward it would be or anything like that, but it's nice to see, again, a beautiful representation of something that I've only had in my mind, really, for the last 30 odd years.
yeah.
So it's nice to see this on the screen.
It is good. I mean, it's hard to say whether, knowing what we know now about having watched the trailer, whether we could tell what everybody is from there. I love. I've got to talk about the end bit now, but we'll talk about it in more detail with Chris Pine. It's absolutely amazing. It's beautiful, and there's the end of the trailer has got. I think it sets the tone that there is a lot of heroic. It feels like D&D.
It does.
That there is heroic moments, but there's also a completely ridiculous
Is that banter between the group?
comedy. Exactly. Yeah. It works well. So let's see. But it's already got me. Okay. Right. So I'm not entirely sure where this is. I was going to go Underdark. I'm getting Avernus vibes from it, but I can't see they'd be going to Avernus.
I'm the same as you. This doesn't really have the feel of the Underdark to me, but it easily could be a different part of the Underdark.
Yeah.
My guess is that what you're seeing is some flaming breath from underneath there.
Yeah.
Not spelling anything happening later in the trailer. But yeah, I think this is where they're going to meet a dragon down here. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's things later in the trailer that do sort of allude to that this is where it's happening. Although there is later on in the trailer, we'll pick up, there's a volcano.
Yes,
So
in
I'm
the
wondering
background.
if
Yeah.
this is underneath.
Oh, yeah. Easily could be.
Yeah, now I never know. I don't think it's going to be the. So we'll also talk in a minute about how far it looks like they're travelling this, because it looks like they do quite a lot of travelling. It's not just set in one place. And
Yes.
Neverwinter, the volcano there, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's got a lovely name, Hot Now or something, or
Yeah, that could be that one.
Hot
Yeah.
Now. It could be. It did look like it was in the countryside, but we'll check that out when we get to it. But the only thing that gave me Avernus vibes here were the chains, because I know in the Descent game
It looks like the front cover art almost, doesn't
it
it?
does, yeah, with the chains. Anyway, let's see what else we can see. Okay, we kind of missed. Let me just go back a second. Sorry about that. We'll just kind of try and get those grey. So, could this be? Are these elves?
I am wondering if these are Dark Elves Drow.
Do you think these might be drow?
It would be a fairly classical enemy, and they are historically a group that the Harpers worked against.
Yeah,
It would be a nice setting for it, wouldn't it? Really nice visuals down there.
it would. And what it does is it makes it feel like this could be the Underdark now. This could be even
Yeah.
if I do feel like this is probably a volcano. Something's happening under here. I don't know whether an evil's right. I feel like this, and I know the way they put trailers together, they can often lead you into a false sense of what the story is going to be about.
Yeah.
This could be somewhere near the middle or the end, but it feels like this is where they're doing something.
I've got a couple of thoughts about this one, actually. I mean, it could be, as they allude to in a moment, they've stolen something from somewhere. This could actually be the very start of the film.
Yeah.
This could be where the opening scenes take place, and you see them running in and running out, and maybe don't reference it. But I think you're right, maybe about that volcano.
Yeah, and we can see them. We can actually see them. Let's take a look. We can actually see them here in this sort of in the left hand corner of the screen. All right, well let's go on a little bit. Oh, now this. So the gauntlets. I love the gauntlets. I love a gauntlet. I've got to say I do love one. I've had a few of my characters have had gauntlets, and I think one of my favourites were gauntlets of the Umber Hulk, which I was a ranger, so I was absolutely poor at melee stuff, and they gave me the ability to punch things and also dig holes in walls.
Oh, that's a nice item. Yeah.
So they really were a good item. Yeah. So I obviously I don't think that's what these are, but let's have a little look at this. Looks like some artifact that they're getting their hands on. I want to try and pause this in the right place. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to take it. So
This is interesting. This is something that I've not seen this paused like this, but this reminds me of an item we see in a little bit when they start mentioning magic and magic items.
yeah. But other than that, I was trying to think. It's obviously a helm of some description,
Yeah.
isn't it? That has some power, which does get revealed a little bit later
Symbol
on.
on there.
It looks like maybe two dragons at the side of a staff. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe someone does know what that is. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can obviously comment in the comments below. You can put your ideas in. Let's have another look. Okay, so now, what do you think we're looking at there?
This I have very like. Is that is the other side of Waterdeep, isn't it?
Yeah, this looks like we're looking at Waterdeep from
the landward side.
From the landward side. It doesn't look as good as...
No, this looks almost like there's maybe an air of almost battle or smoke over it.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like... And obviously with the words here, sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge. They've basically bookmarked that start bit with a beautiful picture of Waterdeep, and then Waterdeep probably...
Before and after, maybe.
Before and after, yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. There's our first big shot of Chris, looking very bardy. I mean, he's. I wasn't actually. I didn't get many spoilers on this as to what he was actually playing, but yeah, he's.
He's definitely a bard.
At the end, yeah. There's if you watch it to the end, there is definitely the big reveal. Okay, so here we get a battle scene. So this could be related to something outside Waterdeep, or on the outskirts of Waterdeep.
Absolutely, and even before we see it, just look at the detail on this creature as it appears, and the breath weapon, immediately identifying it as what it is, and as the first look of a dragon in a D&D film, there's at least certainly a serious one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is stunning. This is dreams come true stuff. This is.
Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try catch it mid-flight, and then you can tell us a little bit about what you know about, because I know you are a wealth of knowledge on some of the lore. So I just want to see if I can.
There we go.
There we go. Let's see if we can get it. Okay.
That's it.
So let's talk a little bit about what this is. I mean, obviously it's a dragon, but it's not a traditional dragon, is it? As in the
it's
sense
a
of
traditional D&D dragon.
A D&D dragon, yeah.
If you're not knowing what D&D is, or the main chromatic dragons, as we call them,
yeah,
this is an evil black dragon, and very brief in a shot, you can even see that they've taken the time to put the front swept horns on the front, which is another thing identifies it as a black dragon. And I love the image of the acid coming out. This is not perhaps something that would have been easy to visualise,
no.
But you can see the effect of it. You can see it steaming on the ground as it goes past, and the effect that it's had on the troops underneath.
Yeah, it's an amazing scene, because obviously we've had a lot of dragons in Game of Thrones, and you know, it's probably, what can you do that's different with a dragon? Well, putting this kind of dragon in is an inspired touch.
Absolutely.
I think
if you can imagine being on the ground and seeing this come at you, yeah, I think I'd be screaming and running away too.
Yeah, and for people that are not familiar with with D&D, that might go and watch this movie, and even new players to D&D, it shows them that there's much more dragons than just fire-breathing creatures. Absolutely. Intelligent creatures, but also dangerous.
Yeah, I mean,
highly dangerous creatures.
I like the fact they're putting it in a battlefield situation. It's not dragons. Traditionally in fantasy stories have generally been the big bad boss, and like that. This might be a big bad boss, but this is something on a battlefield. This is a battlefield weapon that you're seeing used here.
Yeah,
and. Or again, be on the ground. This would be absolutely terrifying seeing something like this.
Which is interesting, right? Because don't we normally see dragons as solitary creatures?
We do, yeah, for sure.
So to have this dragon, if it's not the big bad, it's definitely under the control of someone or
You've
working
got to presume that our evil villain, whoever they are. We know very little about them.
Mr. Grant.
Who's playing it, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If they've managed to get control over a dragon or multiple dragons, yeah, that would constitute a huge threat.
Yeah, okay, that's amazing. Anyway, this is when I saw this scene, literally the hairs on the back of my neck just stood up, because I was so nervous. Yesterday we watched this, and I was so nervous putting it on, because and at the end of it, I just had a beaming smile on my face, because I have, obviously there might be some things when the film comes out that might be questionable, but at the moment I feel like they've put a lot of effort into this, and they've got the right people working on this.
A huge amount has gone into making this film happen. There was all sorts of problems over the rights to make the film. They went to court. There's 3 different parties all involved, all saying they wanted to be part of this.
Right.
To see that they've managed to come together and produce this, and the quality of the people that we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I have very, very high hopes, and even higher now. I've seen this
trebuchet.
It looks like a trebuchet.
Which is firing towards here because we get an explosion.
So.
Oh, okay.
No, he actually blows up.
So the trebuchet actually misfires, but does also do some damage.
So.
Just to just to go back to that, and now I really do wish that we could play the music here because it is Led Zeppelin's Whole Lot of Love, and I'm just the intro to it is perfect. I'm just trying to see if we can figure out what's fighting. I thought these might be dwarves at first, but I'm not 100% sure whether it's.
I think they're just humans on both sides.
They're just humans on both sides, yeah.
I just say one thing. I think this is a nod to the fact that they don't want this probably to be any higher than a 12A. That acid actually doesn't seem to have hit anyone.
No. Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, they won't be Game of Thrones style blood and gore in this.
But it seems to have actually hit no one and just hit the ground, funny enough.
But that's, that's okay. That it's.
I can live with that. It looks amazing. You can see it's steamy on the ground. It's obviously had a big effect on the environment, and that's what Black Dragons do.
Yeah.
So,
and also it makes, a lot of younger people are getting into D&D, and it makes it accessible to them. I mean, I'm sure they'd find a way of seeing it anyway, but what I'm saying is that it makes it officially more accessible to them, and I assume a lot goes into doing that.
Completely agree, and I think that's a fantastic thing. They're making that accessible in that way.
Okay, cue Whole Lot of Love. So, excellent. So here we go. This is the first. I mean, we have seen bits of the party, but this is the party running from danger, obviously, or.
You don't know what they're looking at, but they're looking upwards. So I'm wondering if maybe there's another dragon involved here.
Yeah, and we get this first intro text. We helped the wrong person, which I think in D&D we've all done that. The moral choices are usually they end up being the bad ones, right?
Yeah, no matter what you've done the wrong thing.
Yeah, he's also got. Is this a Harper's insignia that he's
well
got?
Paused? Perfect. This is one of two times you see this pin. This is a Harper pin, insignia. It does mark him as one of the Harpers. You're not supposed to wear one of these if you're not a member. They tend to take it badly if you're falsely claiming to be. But if he's a Harper, they very commonly do recruit bards into their ranks, and they are an organisation devoted to keeping the good balance intact. They want the good sides to prevail ultimately, but they have this idea that any extreme is wrong. So you can't be too good, if you will. Yeah,
so they like to keep the middle ground.
They do.
They're the Lib Dems of...
Historically, their law has changed, but it used to be that they were just about preserving the balance, but now they're definitely towards the good side.
Okay, all right, well, that's good to know. That's a good bit of lore about the Harpers, and yeah, it was actually a very fortuitous pause, that.
Perfect.
Right, let's see. So it looks like they're heading underground here. So it looks like we're getting we've had a dragon. Oh yeah, into a tower. Yeah, I thought maybe they were heading into some kind of thing that went underground, but yeah, if it could be a tower. But anyway, we've had the dragons bit, so we just need the dungeons now, which I think we get in a moment anyway. So we got. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is some artifact. If we had the DMs, but we could probably.
There are a few horns that you tend to read about, and the best well known of those horns is the Horn of Blasting. And looking at that image, I can imagine that being a Horn of Blasting.
Oh,
and it might not be. But
what does do you want to tell us a bit about the Horn of Blasting?
Horn of Blasting is one of those items been around since the very beginning of D&D, certainly during the late 70s, as far as I'm aware. And the idea is you just blow into the horn and it exudes this amazing cone of force, destroying anything in its path.
Yeah.
Almost anyone can use it. It is known to be a very powerful, very potent magical item. And yeah, I can imagine that being something that you'd seek out as a villain or as a hero, to be fair.
And also we get the text underneath this: "Steal the wrong thing." Right at the point of the obviously we don't have the sound on, but we can see the subtitles. Stealing the wrong thing. I'm wondering if this. It looks like a woman we can see here. If this is actually our druid in disguise, or whether she's stealing it, or
I hadn't considered that. That could well be the case, because it does look a little bit like her from what we see later in the film.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Okay, well, let's... oops, there's Grace. Right, I'm going to try and get to the right scene of this, because this is...
Can I say this has Stranger Things vibes?
It certainly does, yeah. And I'm going to try and just get to... I might have to go back. Okay, this'll do. I'm not going to attempt going anymore. So, I'm going to say Thaye. I don't know whether I'm on the right lines here.
Ooh,
a wizard, maybe a lich.
I'm thinking more lich.
But could you not technically have? Because I noticed there are some more people with red robes on, and red robes are
Thavians. The red wizards of Thaye. Yeah.
Yeah, the red wizards of Thaye. Now, obviously, you can have in fact, I think in the lore that they have seats with liches in them. Do the Thaye? I'm pretty sure. That liches...
I think it's their grand wizard is a lich these days. I forget the lore exactly.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he is. I do as well, because I'm wondering. I think so. As far as I remember, I feel like if you head south, maybe even a bit south of Waterdeep, and then head inland a bit, that's somewhere where their territory is, right?
It's quite a bit to the. I think it's south of Baldur's Gate, even.
Yeah, so Baldur's Gate, but then you head east inland a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So and what's going on here? This looks like, I mean, for want of a better word, some kind of blood magic or something. It looks like we've got
some sort of sacrifice, maybe.
Yeah. There looks to be. I mean, is he holding up a goblet or something there?
I think that's the horn.
Ah, that's the horn, and and these people around him look very just like normal folks. They don't look.
They're cultists.
Cultists, a good old classic staple of D&D.
Actually, drawing that together, we've seen those underground caverns before. What maybe if they're dragon cultists? Because that would tie into several D&D stories where they've had
Tiamat.
Yeah,
exactly. The rise of Tiamat. Yeah, okay, that's an interesting theory. I'm going to hold you to these theories. Come back and see.
Come back and test me next year. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that is a good theory, and I feel like actually they're probably going to Easter egg some of this stuff anyway and allude to it for the fans, aren't they? You know, they're going to have. There's got to be a mention of Tiamat or something, even something quite obscure.
Yeah.
In the lore, it's just to what level do they tell it? I've no doubt I'm going to watch this movie hundreds of times.
Like this.
Like this, just pausing it. It's going to take me like weeks to watch it. Okay, let's see what else we got. So we got a fight. Do I need to go back there? Or
no, but I think one thing's we're just seeing our first, I think, example of magic in the trailer.
Yeah,
and again, wow. All of a sudden, it's gone from being sort of invisible effects you get from like sort of Lord of the Rings and things like that, which is perfect for that setting. Just something in very D&D, you get a nice visual with it as well, and it looks like they're just casting a shield spell or something like that.
Yeah. So what we've got here, we've definitely got a shield spell because we can see the first arrow hitting it. I love the fact that we've got hand gestures in there as well. I love that in Magic, and more sort of complex hand gestures. That feels better than just a lot of films where you just hold your hand out and something fires out of the end of your hand. You know,
yes.
It's part of the ritual of creating something. There's something else I want to say about this scene. I mean, obviously we're in the dungeon here, but speaking of bad guys and things, I'm not 100% sure, but to the left, I'm not sure who that person is to the left, because every time I pause it, I get some Hugh Grant vibes off that character, and I want to know if there's a switcheroo going on here in the movie where he's with them and then turns against them. I'm going to try and get this because we get some more great. I don't think it's Chris Pine. I don't think it's because I think the party are all dispersed around the area fighting at this moment. But
okay, that
looks like Hugh Grant to me.
That really does, doesn't it?
It's hard to say, but I do feel that this could be the situation where he is with the party.
That kind of fits with when you see him a little bit later. He doesn't look necessarily. He looks like a villain to us, but he looks like someone who'd be perfect within the setting as a high-level lord or something like that within Waterdeep.
And let's face it, they are duplicitous. A lot of these lords, aren't they? They're not.
Very much so.
They show one face to one person, and behind the scenes they've probably got some deal with a devil or a demon or something.
And he could well be one of the hidden lords.
Yes, he could be. Yeah. Okay, which is D&D lore, which would be amazing. I do love this shield. I love this shield spell. And here we get Michelle Rodriguez, barbarian. Do we think or fighter? Barbarian.
Absolutely barbarian. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because we have a fighter, right? We have
a paladin.
A paladin. That's right. We have a paladin. That's right. Which will.
This is an interesting little bit here, though. As we go forward into a couple more seconds, maybe. It looks like they're slowing down. So this may be the effect of a slow spell or a time stop, even if it's a very powerful one.
Yes.
But you can see them really slowing down to almost nothing.
Well, we do, and we see like there's that's highlighted by it looks like a jug or some other artifact has been exploded, and we see bits of it moving through the air very slowly. So we can. In fact, you're right because they're moving.
He's moving normally.
Speed. Let's just go back and see. I'd like to see that rather than pausing it. I'd like to see that in a sort of a full. Yeah.
He's moving much faster than them.
He is.
This is actually another perfect stop because there's a lot of people I think that I've heard already talking about different monsters here. There is a monster on this screen.
Oh, I know to the right.
To the right, absolutely.
To the right, yeah.
It's quite well hidden because the focus is obviously on the parties and moving through, but you can just see this giant spider creeping its way up the trees rather menacingly.
Yeah, and the strange thing is about. Well, I guess a residue from some dark or bad magic or something.
Easily
it could
something
be
like that. Absolutely.
which is cool. Okay, let's see.
There, right there, another little thing. We're seeing bones here.
Yeah.
Is this undead? Do you think?
Oh, wait a second. Okay, well, let me just come back again then. me just see if I can come back, because I really wanted to see that. So we can see the spider moving on the right-hand side of the screen, and the bones are moving. You were absolutely right. The bones were moving, so we've possibly got undead.
Maybe just saying as a skeleton or something like that, but even... It'd be nice just to see a skeleton.
It's classic fare, right?
I don't think we've seen skeletons since Sinbad.
No, that's true. And not particularly good ones. I mean,
they were great for the time, but...
They were good for their time, but yeah, nowadays we want so much more, don't we? But
yes.
yeah. I love this scene.
Yeah.
Because this is the epitome of D&D. This is...
It shows the humour.
Figure it out over a drink.
Yep.
Where does every party end up at some point?
Got to be a tavern.
Got to be a tavern. Yeah, this is beautiful.
Almost everyone who's ever played a character, played through a campaign in D&D, has started life in a tavern.
Yeah.
So that might even be where the adventure just starts off again. This is maybe a great jumping off point.
Yeah.
This location is interesting. Now,
there's snow on the ground for a start.
Definitely not Waterdeep anymore.
No.
My first thoughts, when we're looking at snow and ice within Forgotten Realms, which seems where this is set, has got to be Icewind Dale, right?
Yeah, or at least the borderlands between, at least approaching that area.
Well, there's a thought here. It looks like almost a fortified location if you look at the back there.
Yeah.
There aren't that many fortified locations in that area, and there's sort of a hint it may be a place called Revel's End. I don't know if that's a place you've heard of.
It's not, but I know you are running this at the moment, so I know you'll be an absolute encyclopedia on this area.
To be honest, no, because I tend to read the areas as they come up, but I do know of it, and essentially it's a prison in the northwest of Icewind Dale.
Ah.
So, given these are rogues, maybe they've caught someone and they've dropped them off there. Maybe there's somewhere they've got to go and get some information. We don't know.
Yeah.
But it's nice that you're seeing these other major places within the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
And again, this doesn't look like a very warm place, does it? So...
No, it doesn't. Just picking up that point you said about rogues, interesting. Because I know they have all got definite different classes, these people that we can see, but the title's Honor Amongst Thieves. Are we thinking there's a bit of multi-classing going on here? Do you think they're all a bit roguey?
I think what we're doing is actually doing something that is moving away from the classes as you. So in here D&D, one of the things is I'm a fighter, I'm a wizard. But that actually doesn't say much about what you do day to day. You might be a fighter, but are you a soldier or you're a mercenary? These guys might all be rogues. They might all be thieves.
Yeah.
But we've also got a barbarian, a bard, and that sort of thing. So I think
okay.
it might just be alluding to that, because I don't think we've got a genuine rogue amongst the party.
No, that's true. We don't have a rogue. So we've got a bit of rogue running through the party itself in spirit, rather than actually having a rogue.
I think so.
Yeah, and so every one of them at some point will be able to do a roguey thing, maybe a sneak or a sleight of hand, or
I'd like to see something like that. Yeah. Just alluding to it.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, but back to this. Figure it out over a drink. I mean, it's the classic. Let's get into a tavern. That's all. That
shows the sort of humour we're looking at.
Right. Okay. So I'm Icewind Dale.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with your theory about that at this point. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else we can see. I mean, that landscape is absolutely phenomenal. I'd love to know more about where they filmed it, what they did, how much is CGI, how much they've actually done location.
I am willing to bet, from other things I've seen elsewhere, that this is probably a real glacier they're walking across. Wow. I wouldn't mind betting they've dropped them
with
there.
Probably some
the back is all CGI.
Yeah, but still, I mean, if that's a real place on Earth, absolutely phenomenal.
That's
stunning, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, let's see. We're nearly halfway through. So I think this is the spirit of the party. This is a real important bit of dialogue that's coming up now. We get a bit of dialogue that flips between a few scenes, and starting off with, to give us a fighting chance, we're going to need strength.
Yeah, this is where we find out who's playing what.
Who's playing what? Yeah. So obviously, and we have Michelle Rodriguez there. Her character, barbarian.
Absolutely.
The strength. I mean, everybody, depending on how you define strength, physical strength,
courage, inner
courage,
strength,
yeah. But you've also got a lot of different types of people have strengths, don't they? So, but in this instance, I think this is what this is alluding to.
And I think it's fantastic. They picked her as the barbarian.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is good. Yeah,
she's not someone you'd immediately go to and think barbarian, but again, within D&D terms, we get away from realism to a certain degree.
You don't have to be a Hulk, or
no.
Being a barbarian is something also about your culture and your spirit and your beliefs, and how you approach things. And they're not just smash things up, barbarians. No. They do have a lot more complexities.
Can I just say, she makes this look good.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought she was a great choice. I was trying to think of what. I can't remember whether she was in one of the previous Alien films, because I did say this to Sarah last night, and I'm not entirely sure, but she was definitely in, was it a Resident Evil or something?
Yes, she was in the series, I think. Or no, maybe the films.
She was in the Resident Evil, and she does kind of play these tough parts and does them really well.
Avatar.
Avatar. I've not seen Avatar, actually. I'm ashamed to say. I have not seen Avatar. But yeah, definitely a great choice. So let's see what else we've got, because this is an important... now, okay, let's just go back a little bit. I'm sorry, because we do get to see her in action, which is nice. We get to see everybody in action here. So first thing is...
Bang.
Oh, I missed... I want to take a little look at that axe. That's obviously her axe being forged, right?
Oh, well, this is D&D. I don't know. She's lifting out some fire or something like this, but...
Oh, she's just dipping her axe in...
Has she... Is it maybe something like a flame tongue axe?
Oh, could be. That's a good call. Again, this is why we'll be watching this over and over again.
It looks beautiful, though, straight away. I mean, you can see that it's obviously taking on some of the elements of the heat it's going through. You can see a little bit of the flame still hanging onto the blade.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. Okay, let's see it in action. Well, he's just seen it in action. Up close and personal, whoever
Not
that
very
is.
long.
Yeah, so what we got here, I mean, we haven't got a town's guard. We're looking a bit... Who have we got here? I feel like we've got Chris Pine skulking away.
Nursing his wounds, maybe, yeah.
Or doing... Yeah, maybe he's casting a spell or something. That's interesting. Do we have some kind of cultist down here ducking away, or could that be the druid? I don't know. Anyway, whoever this is here is just got a face full of axe or
face full of barbarian, I think.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And look at that pose. I mean, that's phenomenal. That could be a mini, couldn't it?
This is great.
Yeah. Down you go.
And it's also smooth. I mean, yeah, I know you're flicking between different points here, but she makes this look good.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is we'll do these bit at a time, and then I'll go back and just do this sequence in full, because this is a slam, is this?
Nice little montage, this little bit, isn't it?
This is a beautiful slam.
Yes.
Yes, there you go, you're down. Okay, so let's just see her in action again in full speed, and then we will go to our paladin, right?
Absolutely. That's what it looks like.
This should all be over pretty quickly, and...
Bang, bang, and bang.
Okay, now, so... I don't think I can get anything from, the herald on the breastplate there or anything. I'm not entirely sure, but we also need courage. Yeah, so we've had strength, and these are the sort of signature qualities, of these classes, right? I mean, obviously in D&D, we all now love to play. It's got way more nuanced when you play a character. You don't just play, but these are the core things. These are the things that really are the foundations of your character, right? For sure. So we got the paladin courage, and so this looks like we're back in the Underdark again. We do get all the party.
Reminds me of those early scenes where with the volcano and that.
Yeah, so it looks like we've definitely got some scenes in the volcano. They're approaching someone. Now I want to know what this is, because he's got a bit of a tricky sword. What's that? Tell me what that is.
Oh, again, I don't. If that wasn't a flame tongue axe, that's almost certainly a flame tongue sword, right? Yeah,
because look here, and then this helm. We don't know what this helm does. Let's just come back a little bit.
This is so quick.
Right, so there at this point here, he's got a sword.
And then he seems to launch it, yes.
Yeah, and then he's left with a dagger.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, because he can throw his sword and he's still got a dagger left, which is quite a nice little...
Normally throwing a sword would be a bad idea, but I mean...
Yeah, but in the mechanic, this does actually work, because otherwise you'd...
Oh, it's the visuals it's amazing.
It looks great, yeah. And who knows, maybe it comes back to him, maybe there's something new in this, we don't know. But look at that. And there's stuff going...
Something coming up behind him, isn't there?
I believe that might be some fighting going on. Right, okay, so this is the helm that we saw them taking. So, again, this is really in the spirit of D&D.
Yeah.
You find something, you don't just put it away or dig a hole and bury it. You use it.
This is mine now, yes.
Yeah, this is mine. I would like to see in this a scene where they all argue about who gets it. or who it's... you have it. Or everybody going, no, you have it, no, you have it, no, you have it, until somebody goes, out, just give it to me.
Yeah, just give it to me.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, we see it. So we see this glowing. So this is definitely a helm. We don't know what it does. Thunderwave, I'm thinking maybe. Let's just watch this.
That definitely looks like a Thunderwave. But the fact it's coming out and they're almost showing the same thing and then going over a much greater distance.
Yeah. That could be just careful editing as well.
It could be.
It could be careful editing, because let's just see where that actually looked like it took place. Let's just...
Because it starts off underground, then obviously seems to move back to Waterdeep, doesn't it?
But it feels like he's in the volcano, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what they're doing is that clever editing that...
Yeah.
Oh, no, maybe not. He was in a room. And it goes outside. What's this up here?
It could just be a lantern, but I think it's well spotted. It may not be.
Something. Yeah, there's something flying about. Anyway, right. So now we get our first good look at the druid. So there's something you want to say about the druid? I mean, very druid, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see a little glimpse there. She has some horns.
Yeah, which means she's
a tiefling by the looks of things.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, we've got a tiefling, which is really good because looking at what we've got there, we've got humans.
We've just got humans apart from the one tiefling, I think.
Yeah, and a tiefling that's in a second's not going to be a tiefling. I think we see something pretty amazing, but it had to be in this movie.
This may be my favourite element of this trailer.
Yeah,
this is awesome to watch this. Druids, for anyone who knows me, they are my favourite class.
Yeah,
and seeing something like this, and apparently the story behind this is that the person essentially acting a DM in terms of the story has basically said, if you were doing this in game, you'd basically give them a polar bear stats, which you can do, and just make it look like an owlbear. But the fact that you've made this happen and made it look so good. Again, this as a druid, this would be awesome to do.
This is an amazing moment. Great choice. I don't know what she's been in before, but unfortunately I don't know her name. But she was in It as well. I remember she was in the It movie.
I did make a note. Her name's Sophia Lillis. She's did It 1 and 2 and a couple of other smaller things.
Right. Okay.
I'm not familiar with the stuff she's done beyond what I've looked up today.
No. Likewise. Okay. Let's see where we go. What she does seem to have in this is a good rapport with Chris Pine.
Yes.
I do like some of their. There's a bit at the end as well, which is.
We'll get to.
Phenomenal. So here we go.
Yes.
I mean, I thought about when I first saw this. I thought, but I guess maybe this is changing. I was getting a horse.
I was getting hippogriff.
Hippogriff, yeah. I was getting
griffin,
hippogriff.
should I say?
Yeah. So this does play a little bit, but I think
this is definitely her changing.
We're seeing the change in now. So that's really clever. The way it almost goes from a horse to a. It's almost like she might be polymorphing through a few different forms.
She's obviously morphing. I love seeing that morphing effect.
Yeah,
that must have been so difficult to do.
And I think it's really well done. But ultimately we get an owlbear. Yes. Right. Okay. Let's see if we can get a pause on the owlbear.
This.
I mean, this is This is how I imagine owlbears. Anyway,
absolutely
I think they've
huge, destructive beasts.
And
this bit here.
That is the most owly looking owlbear. So is this? I know there's a lot of interpretations with art. We've all never seen art. Are you happy with this? Is this how you think an owlbear should look?
This is a wonderful representation of an owlbear, and obviously we see a lot of monsters as we go on through this trailer, but this is an iconic creature.
Yeah,
and they've got it. They've actually nailed this.
Yeah, and just in case we weren't sure, what is that again? Oh, just as the guy lands behind them. It's an owlbear. I mean,
I love that effect of the guy just dropping down behind them for comedic effect.
Yeah, I think they have nailed the comedic effect, and I think this. I don't know whether this will influence the way some people play their games, but I'm quite sure a lot of people do. But if you're not having fun in your D&D games, you certainly should. But there's a time to be serious, and there's a time to have a lot of fun as well.
On that note, I will guarantee over the next 1 to 2 years, just about every DM at some point is going to be pestered by a druid wanting to be an owlbear as part of their campaign.
This will start the owlbear revolution. Absolutely. Do you want to say anything about owlbears, because they are actually quite strange? They've got strange origins, right?
They're supposedly a magical creature created by experiments and wizards that have combined the two races, and then they've broken free and they've created more of themselves in the wild.
Yeah.
But there's not a huge amount more to really worry about going into unless you want to go quite deep. But they are one of those creatures that's always captured the imagination. They're one of the very early D&D characters. I remember seeing those creatures. I remember seeing them in the first Monstrous Manual. Yeah, and it captivated me as a child. So
yeah, they've out, and I wonder who came up with that idea. Because it's just it's a very strange.
There is a story about that. I'll try and dig that out for you.
Okay, that would be good to know. Okay, anyway, there she goes. This is a great scene because already look the legs.
Yes.
And we can get this slowly. Immediately there, look. So she's almost back. And at that point, so when I first watched this, I just thought they'd found an owlbear in the woods. And it was this point. Obviously now watching back, I can see the slow motion. I can see the transformation, the polymorphing going on. But this is where I went, oh, she's the owlbear. Okay, right. The druid's just changing to that. Which is quite unique. Okay, and we're getting...
That was a wow moment for me.
Yeah, that was a good moment. And here we get the volcano, which is obviously... where they're heading. Okay, we should.
Now here, this is one of those blink and miss it moments you mentioned. This is our second dragon.
Yeah, let's get a better. I want a better look at this because I've got a theory about this as well, and it might be the same as yours. But when we saw that first scene, there was a stone statue of a dragon, and I'm getting the feeling that this is.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I am curious because It could be a silver dragon.
Mm-hmm.
It looks more like a white dragon, although if it's in the city, it would be odd. The other thing it could be is just an animated statue.
Yeah.
But I mean, it has all the appearance of a dragon here. But those glowing eyes, maybe that means something.
Yeah, and how would you? I guess the big question I've got as well is how would you animate a statue if you're going to animate a statue?
There's a few spells that animate objects would do it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
It could be a golem or something like that. A construct.
A golem. Yeah, because there's like a construct. There's not really any boundaries to how that could look, right? If it's
you can make them anything you like. And if you can imagine a fantastical city like Waterdeep, you're going to have some magical defences, right?
Yeah.
So having a bunch of statues around that you could animate would be a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
There is precedent for that. They have the walking statues of Waterdeep. There was 8, and I think there's now 7. One got damaged.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be a nice little touch. We
should definitely revisit this on March the 4th. Oh. Okay, I really want to talk about this scene because this scene, I've thought about this a lot and I still can't fathom what is going on, and you might just say straight away you know, and it looks like she's almost on the other side. She comes out in what looks like almost a loot, a hoard of art. You might think it's something different.
Okay, so we have Audra on this side. On the other side, to me, she looks like she's wearing something slightly different. But ignoring the Stranger Things vibes again, I think what she's doing is jumping through a portal. She's jumping through a portal.
Do you think maybe they keep their loot in a portal though? Because when you get through it, there's a lot of loot.
It could be. The other thing is that this actually could be a hidden lair or something like this, and you go through a particular small puddle or small lake for it.
The portal makes sense. All right, well let's just watch this because I love this, and I will try pause it, but I really do like this bit. I think it's done so well, and I'm gonna watch it again because
it's so smooth.
Yeah, it's really well done. I love that. And look, she ends up. I mean,
some arms and armour on the right. But on the left-hand side, you're empty bookshelves.
Right, okay. Could be a scholar wizard, some kind of wizard's
maybe
lair, or...
It's interesting. There's 2 big mirrors as well, those things. So maybe this is supposed to be like an alternate, almost like an extra planar space.
These look like plates to me.
It could be, yeah. I'm just looking at the fact that you've got these reflections down the left-hand side. So the headlights on the left-hand side.
Yes,
they seem to continue a little bit into those central plates or mirrors.
Ah, you're right. Okay. Well, then let's see
if they move with the camera.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get much more out of this scene.
No.
We'll try. Okay, right. We wanted a dungeon. We got a dungeon.
We got a dungeon.
Right? Or the Underdark, one or the other. But we can interchange the two a little bit.
Got an idea there too.
I'll go on then.
Okay. Well, actually, no, carry on. It'll appear in, I think it's the next couple of scenes anyway. So.
Just want to say here though, regardless of who else we've got a great shot of the barbarian that could be a mini there on the left hand side. I mean, that's just.
If these don't get released as minis, that's like a missed opportunity, right?
And we've got another staple thing of especially humans in dungeons, a lantern.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't see in the dark.
There's no dark vision. I mean, tieflings wouldn't necessarily have dark vision.
So a lot of them have got low light vision or dark vision. Absolutely,
right, okay.
Almost all of them, I think.
Oh, okay. So then, so hence. So what do we think he might be an elf? Because he hasn't got a lantern.
He doesn't. Maybe they're just obviously got both their hands free. That's our paladin, right?
Yeah, I want to now have a look at it because he's quite tall. I want to have a look at his ears.
I was looking at ears when I was looking at this before. I didn't notice anything, but it could be.
Right. Well, let's keep our eyes out on that one. Because it feels strange if we had a party without an elf.
It would. Yeah, it's very traditional now.
Let's
this bit here.
Come on then.
So we were talking about the Underdark, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about Waterdeep previously. There is, underneath Waterdeep, there is the Undermountain, okay?
Right.
And one of the earlier levels of the Undermountain is a location called Skullport.
Ah.
And Skullport is technically within the Underdark itself.
Right.
And is kind of like it's an underground community. It's like very much like we're seeing here. You can see all sorts of buildings, lights, windows perhaps. And I think this might actually be Skullport if the original place is Waterdeep.
Oh, well, that would be interesting. I mean, it looks phenomenal. To see an underground city, it looks amazing. I mean, we've got these, I guess these are kind of bridges or something, or steps up and across.
See, they're all different structures now, the different shapes that they've used.
Yeah.
It's really, really well done.
It is well done. There is evil here. Whatever it is, they've tied that in with the line, there is evil here. So I'm assuming there's evil there. All right, we don't get so he's obviously there at the moment. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about. I mean, I can see already on the sort of the tattoos on the skin tattoos on the forehead and things.
Absolutely. And look at the ears.
Oh yeah,
This was the one that made me think, hey, maybe these guys are Dark Elves.
yeah. I think you're right.
Because there have been some changes to the lore of Dark Elves over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
And I'm wondering whether this is just a light-skinned drow.
it could be. And obviously, you've read way more books than me. You can tell us the name of the most famous of these.
Well, you're referring to Dristwarden or the city Menzoberranzan?
That one, no, the man himself. Yeah,
Well,
Triss.
funny you should bring him up because he uses one of the classical drow weapons, or will become one of the classical drow weapons, and that's the scimitar. And if you have a look at this
Yeah.
elf, that has got to be a scimitar, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a scimitar. What's the green?
Whoa.
Have we got some magic going on?
There's got to be some sort of magic there, right?
That scimitar is imbued with
Ooh.
magic.
There is a spell, the Green Flame Blade.
There we go.
There's a cantrip.
There we go. This is why I have you here. Excellent. Okay, yeah. So we, yeah.
What if those tattoos mean anything? Same about the barbarian. Michelle Rodriguez's character is covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
I wonder if they mean anything.
Yeah, well, I've no doubt they do. Even if it's not explicitly done in the film, I've no doubt who the filmmakers
nod.
have gone to. Yeah, quite big lengths. All right, so we're getting. Oh, I could have probably. Let's just go back a little bit. I get my favourite scene again. There we go. Fortunately, it all moves very fast, so I just want to try and see. Here's.
Looks like our paladin.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if we get any indication of his ears. See if we might be dealing with an elf. We might be dealing with an elf. We might be. They're not. They don't have to be explicitly shown. You know, they might be under his hair. Could be a half elf. That's true. Well, we're going to find out what he's going to do to this.
Fighting the same person here.
Yeah. So.
Quite easily knocking them down with those things.
Okay, we've got the pie. We've got. So we've seen this guy as well, wasn't he? Sat on the horses. What do we know about?
I know very little about him. It's Justice Smith, I believe, and I think he's playing our sorcerer, judging from the helm that we see him put on earlier on.
Ah, right. So could be an elf. We've got the ears again. It's hard to see, isn't it, when they're under the ear?
It is. I mean, I am very curious because you don't see a lot about him in these trailers.
No,
well, keeping those powers to one side.
In fact, in all honesty, I'd completely forgotten about the reference because there's very few references in this trailer. So maybe he's someone they pick up along the way.
If I was doing this and wanting to highlight this as a D&D thing to people who play D&D, I would put later on different edits for the trailers involving each of those characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Showcasing the classes.
And that's what often happens with trailers because they don't want you to get the full story. So they lead you down one path and then you're like, oh, wow, okay, so that's what that was. And obviously not everything makes it into the final film from trailers as well. Some things get cut out. So
this is very early.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to start sticking my neck out and saying he actually might be an elf. I do not know, but I...
That's one to revisit. We'll see if we can call you out on that in March.
Look at his ears.
That's not just his hair?
Nope. And what a thing to pause on. Okay.
Okay, we'll call him an elf for now and see what happens.
Yeah, okay. Okay, brilliant. So I don't think this is our druid then, because we saw this woman earlier on.
Well, you say that. Druids, elemental, lightning.
Yeah, it's the dress. And
she definitely looks like a villain, this one.
Yeah, and the dark eyes. Do we know of any lore that this could fit? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, are we getting a sorcerer here or something? Or
it could be a cleric, for enough. One of the gods is Tempest. Talos. Sorry,
right.
Who's the lord of storms.
Mm-hmm.
He's certainly lightning related. If this was a cleric and that was a cult we saw before, that could be a link there.
Okay, let's have a. Okay,
beautiful.
Is this fireball and a shield?
Oh, there's got to be fireball and some sort of protective shield. Shouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe a globe of invulnerability if we're being more technical.
Okay, and here we come back to, you know the name of this place.
Yeah, this was the Field of Triumph. It's almost certainly got to be. If you look around as it pans around, you can see a few elements.
What do you think's happening there?
I think we've got a changing arena.
Absolutely. Like, and here we go. Okay.
So he's popular, right?
Yeah.
He's standing and he's playing to the crowd.
He's a lord, right?
He's going to be a Lord of Waterdeep.
He's got to be a Lord of Waterdeep. The Lords of Waterdeep. Okay.
There is. So I think it's supposed to be one. Bear in mind, I haven't done a lot with Forgotten Realms for the last X number of years, but there's one Lord of Waterdeep who is, I think, the open Lord, the revealed Lord. and that's like the face of the council.
Right.
Maybe that's him.
That's him, yeah. Because I always wondered. I know we got a name for this character quite early on, and I've forgotten what the name is, but that wasn't really important to me because I was more interested in what he actually was. I'm more interested in how powerful he is as well, or whether his power just comes from the people he can exert that power on. Rather than him having any, internal power. Okay.
Ah, yes.
Let's just quickly go back to this. We all know what this is. In fact, there's a big... Todd Kendrick has a big discussion with, I think, Chris Perkins on this. There's a big video about all the monsters. But here we go. This is an iconic thing.
Truly iconic as far as
this is the thing that probably we don't put in games enough, because it would just be, if we did, we could just go wild with it. We could put it, everything could be.
Some people do. I've heard of versions of these that actually represent a whole house, and everything within it is actually its offspring.
Yeah. Exactly. So the mimic is the house. Everything in the house is mimic. It's just, anyway. Let's just see this thing, because this is the quintessential mimic, right? The chest.
Yeah, absolutely. They actually, this is how they were first presented, and again, the first Monster Manual had this in it. And they've always attacked by using this sticky tentacle. The fact it's coming out as a tongue is great. And the fact it's using it to move, I think, is very clever.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's got feet.
Yeah, because this thing pulls itself. Yep.
Great.
Okay, right. So we got something here. I'm glad I paused it right there. So forget the background creature for a minute. Let's talk about the thing in the front.
Wonderful. A gelatinous cube. Again, another iconic creature. Jumping into it's not something you normally want to do. They're obviously very acidic on the inside. Not easy to get out of.
However...
the thing behind them
might be an inventive use of it.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be slightly scarier than the thing behind it.
And we've got a skeleton at the bottom of it anyway, so...
I think this is really nice to see that. As an action scene, this is going to be amazing to watch.
Absolutely, yeah.
And of course, the gelatinous cube is, for those that don't know, it's a 10 to 15 foot cube. Normally wanders down dungeons, acting as a bit of a hoover, just accumulating anything that it sweeps up. And it is very difficult to get out from these things. They kind of keep you in once you're in. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try and get out from this.
Yes, I mean, this is definitely out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Yeah.
Or we could have a new one, which will... Just a second.
Yeah.
Away from the...
Displacer Beast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy to see this. This is such an amazing creature, isn't it? Let's see if we can get it.
That, right there. You can see those tentacles coming out from his back. Although, again, for those people not so familiar with this, what you're seeing there is not necessarily its real position. They always appear sort of phased a few feet to either side where they are.
It could actually be over here, or it could be, to the left of where it is, etc.
Absolutely.
So they are... Is it blur? What do they call it? Is it...
It is displaced in this case,
yeah.
I think the thing about these, though, that has really made them popular very recently is the Displacer Beast kittens that the Feywild book.
You can get them while they're young and make them into nice creatures rather than things that are going to try and tear you to pieces.
That thing's not a nice creature.
No, this thing. Well, probably bred or scared or put in captivity to just do this for a
Either way, I don't want it sitting on my lap.
Exactly. Same. Oh, right. Let's just quickly get back to this. We can watch the Displacer Beast go again. This is a very fast scene. What's that?
Magic missiles?
Magic missile. Yeah, I think so.
I guess there's a few variations on that.
And we've got a wizard here, or the Lich. Maybe this is the Lich.
That red cloak, maybe a Thavian wizard. Absolutely.
I think it's the same.
Agreed.
Because something happens here now.
Yeah.
A certain spell happens here now. Well, I think it's a certain spell. It could be because there are other stronger spells, versions of it. But I think this is a very specific spell that the Red Wizard uses, and I love the way it's implemented because I think it's...
Yeah, right there.
So
really nice.
We've got her as an owlbear.
Yeah.
And back up. I love that. I love the way that's done.
There's obviously several variations on this.
I feel like it's Misty Step or something.
Misty Step kind of fits the bill, doesn't it?
I think it's Misty Step, yeah. And just the way it's done.
Yeah.
It's amazing, the sort of...
The fluidity of it.
The fluidity of it, and it's appearing somewhere else. It fits, even if I've never thought about exactly how it looks, that now...
It fills that void, doesn't it?
That feels right, yeah. That feels like the way to do it. Right, so we got a strange-looking dragon here. I mean, it looks a little bit
snub-nosed, almost.
Yeah.
But obviously, dragons are all very individual, and this is going to be a red dragon, I guess.
In the volcano, probably.
There are other things. It could be a sort of another version of a dragon, but it fits the bill of a red dragon to me. Where it uses the location and that.
All right. Okay, that's fine. All right. So we are getting,
especially with the fire breath.
And here we go. So we're getting the classic sliding straight. So this feels like a bit of a Jaws trope. Whenever you watch Jaws with Quint at the end of Jaws. when the boat starts tipping up.
Oh, yes,
and he's
absolutely,
right
yeah.
into the. I think this is something that
It's straight out of that playbook, isn't
was
it?
done in Jaws, yeah, and I think it's been done so many times since. It's beautiful because you are literally at the mercy of gravity.
Yeah.
And there's a big gaping hole, what's usually the maws of something that you're heading towards. So absolutely phenomenal. This is a great scene.
Yeah. Very nicely framed.
It's got almost a Thor, too fast for the dragon to react.
Those chains in the background again as well.
Yeah, so I think we're definitely in the. All right, so we can just watch this bit now through because this is a beautiful bit of dialogue. This bit of dialogue is.
It makes me chuckle.
This sets the tone as well because you know that even though there's going to be a lot of tense moments in it, there's going to be the humour, and this is. What exactly do you bring to this? Which is our druid asking the bard.
Yeah, a question we all ask.
And this line. So you make plans that fail. I mean, the comedy keeps bouncing, doesn't it? It keeps escalating. So you make plans.
We have a comedic druid, a very sharp druid.
And then finally, the punchline. No, he also plays the lute. And this is the point when we 100% know what we're dealing with Chris Pine's character. Yeah. He's the charismatic one. The one that people do go, oh, he's doing it again. But yet he does actually get stuff done as well occasionally. Do you know what I mean?
I've got to ask the question, though. How many people is he going to end up sleeping with if he's a bard? You've got to address this, right?
I've no idea. I imagine if it's a 12A, did you say?
Yeah.
Zero.
You're probably right.
Yeah, if it's 12A. And we also get this other character in here again who you think might be the sorcerer, yeah?
I reckon he's a sorcerer.
Yeah, okay. Not seeing much accent. And here we go. So if there was any doubt about the bardishness...
That little prance at the end.
Yeah, let's just go back and see if I can just get... Yeah, it's perfect, is that? And I think we're nearly there. Oh,
Perfect.
I missed it anyway. Yeah, and then there's just another little... I think that's it. Okay, so that is amazing. Let's go back to the start of it again. Yeah, that was brilliant. So, overall impressions, I don't think we've had anything bad to say about it, have we?
No. I am really excited for this now. I think I said to you earlier that when this was coming out, when this was due to come out, I was quite wary because the other films really have... For me, they're really disappointing. I was speaking to a friend just last night, actually, about how he thought that the original films were watchable, just... You lean into the silliness. For me, they were quite damaging to the whole franchise.
Yeah.
The second and third films they've admitted were only made to retain the film rights.
Yes.
That's the only reason they got made at all.
Yeah. Which about 2000 maybe or something.
I think it was about that. I didn't look at the dates, but yeah, again, seeing that this has now become a real thing. This is now not just us talking about D&D, not just people getting excited about it. This is the real thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really excited, and the one word for me that sums up is just wow.
Yeah, wow. I'm really happy as well. I mean, I don't, other than what we said now, we've only seen what we've seen and we know what we know about the trailer, but it looks absolutely phenomenal. I think they've got the right balance of humour. What they've done for me, what it feels like they've done, is they have actually captured the spirit of D&D. They've actually captured what Dungeons and Dragons is about, that there's adventure, and there's times, like in real life, when you have all that stress and you have all those big moments, and then there's times when you just have to laugh and have fun.
Bit of levity.
A bit of levity, and that's what D&D is about. And ironically, that's what D&D probably does in real life. That's the role it fulfills with us in our real life. It gives us something that just lets you get out of the,
bit of
the
escapism.
stress. Yeah, a bit of escapism. Yeah, absolutely. I feel confident that it's not going to let me down. Now, on that note, Sandman is out in a couple of weeks, which is one of my favourite comics. I feel like it's okay, but I haven't seen enough of it yet to know whether I like it. But anyway, that's amazing. So thanks everybody for watching. Just really excited about it. I hope you're excited about it. Let us know in the comments anything you think about, any theories you've got on it, and thank you to Rick for joining me. Rick, just tell everybody where they might be able to find you if they're interested in your GMing skills or your...
Well, you can find me on Facebook. You can search for Rick Rolls. That's RIKHROLLS. Or you can also have a look at my website, small though it is. That's rickhart.com. Again, RIKHART.
Yep.
And on there you'll find elements of world building and perhaps examples of other pieces of work I've done.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, and I'll put those links down in the description for this. And all I've got to say is, if you are interested in D&D, I do a world building stream on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and we always give away some dice on that stream, so come along and watch. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. We'll probably do some more of these, yeah?
I look forward to it. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.